The Warriors made NBA history last night, and it wasn't just a lucky night either. They've now had 5 games this season shooting over 40% from 3 on 50 or more attempts. That kind of consistency from deep is just unheard of. Curry went nuclear again. He knocked down 12 threes, which tied his season high. But more than that, he made up 48% of their total threes. That's the highest individual share ever in a game where the team made at least 25. The man's rewriting history just by showing up. But it wasn't just shooting from deep that made this game insane. It was their offensive efficiency across the board. Their true shooting percentage was 68.5%, which is their best of the season. Curry scored 52 on 31 shots while shooting over 51% from the field. Podziemski was right there with him, hitting 7 of 9 from beyond the arc. They had 29 assists and only 8 turnovers. That's a 3.6 ratio, their second best this season. That means they were moving the ball with purpose, finding the right guys, and limiting mistakes. And it translated straight into scoring. They combined for over 90 points just from the paint and from 3. That's literally their entire scoring philosophy in one perfect example. They completely dominated the glass too, grabbing 55 rebounds total, including 13 on the offensive end. That's their third highest rebound total of the season. Draymond Green had 10 boards, and somehow, so did Curry. Guards grabbing double-digit rebounds, that's how locked in they were. Their rebound rate was 54.2%, meaning they secured over half of all available rebounds. That played a huge role in them beating Memphis 134 to 125. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during the season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, Golden State. And the defense wasn't slacking either. They had 9 steals and 4 blocks, with Curry getting 5 steals himself. Green added 2 more and a block, showing just how important he still is on both ends. Their defensive rating for the game was 110, which lines up exactly with their season average, and they're ranked 8th overall in that category. They kept Memphis to just 12 fast break points despite the fast tempo. That's just textbook transition defense. With this win, they moved to 44 and 31 on the season, which puts them 5th in the Western Conference. It also keeps them firmly locked into the play-in mix. And with momentum like this, they're a scary matchup for anybody. This was also the second time this season Curry's gone for 50 or more, and they're undefeated when he does it. So when Curry explodes, the team follows. It's not just flashy, it's effective. Their bench showed up big too, which gave them that extra boost to hold the lead late. It wasn't just a star show, everybody chipped in. They tied their season high and made threes with 25. They also set a new season high for true shooting percentage in a win at 68.5%, beating their previous best of 67.1. This game wasn't just about flashy numbers. It was a complete statistical showcase. Everything from shooting, rebounding, ball movement, defense, and bench scoring was at its peak. I've seen teams get hot before, but this was a full-on clinic. But let's dive into some of the individual stuff. Starting with Curry, he dropped 52, hit 12 threes, and didn't miss a single free throw. He shot over 51% from the field, exactly 60% from 3, and 100% from the line. That gave him a true shooting percentage of 75.3. That's the second highest he's ever posted in a 50-point game this season. That kind of efficiency just doesn't happen, especially when you're launching 20 shots from deep. And somehow, he still managed to grab 10 rebounds, dish out 5 assists, and swipe 5 steals. That put him in a club only 2 other players have ever touched: Michael Jordan and James Harden. He's 37 years old and still doing things we've only seen from legends in their prime. That stat line alone would be wild at any age, but doing it this deep into a career, it's unheard of. He's now the oldest player in the league history to record at least 50 points, 10 boards, 5 assists, and 5 steals in a single game. Before this, that title belonged to LeBron James. But Curry just took it. He also became the oldest player to drop multiple 50-point games in a season. He had 56 against Orlando earlier this year, and now this. Nobody else at 37 has ever done it. His game score against Memphis was 48.6. That's his third best of the year, only behind that 56-point night and another 40-pointer he had against Brooklyn. His offensive rating, while on the floor, was 138.7. That's compared to just 109.2 when he was on the bench. That's nearly a 30-point swing, all because of his presence. The Warriors outscored Memphis by 22 points during his 37 minutes on the floor. His plus-minus was plus 17, which was the second best on the team that night. And on the defensive side, his 5 steals tied a season high. His individual defensive rating in the game was 108, which is better than the team's overall average. So it's not just about scoring. He was giving effort on both ends. Since the All-Star break, he's been on a tear. In February, he averaged over 30 points per game. In March, nearly 29. And even with a small sample in April, he's still at 25.5 points per game. Since turning 37 on March 14th, he's shooting over 42% from the field, over 40% from three, and over 92% from the line. That's an elite efficiency split, even for someone in their prime, let alone someone approaching 40. He's still making 4.5 threes per game on over 11 attempts, shooting just under 40% from deep. That keeps him at the top of the all-time list with over 3,700 career makes from deep. He's also had 12 games this season with at least 8 threes made, which is the most by any player 35 or older ever. His true shooting percentage for the entire season is over 61%, which ranks 4th among all guards, averaging at least 20 points. His effective field goal percentage is sitting at 57.1, which is insane when you consider that over 62% of his shots are threes. That means he's not padding stats with layups. He's hitting long-range bombs with ridiculous efficiency. And when you look at his overall numbers this season, they're still right there with the best. He's averaging 24.4 points, 6.1 assists, and 4.4 rebounds per game. Only LeBron James and Karl Malone have put up those numbers at this age. It's not just that he's still playing, he's thriving. In the clutch, he's been reliable too. He's scoring over 4 points per game in clutch situations, defined as the last 5 minutes of a game when the score is within 5 points. He's shooting 45% from the field, 40% from three, and 95% from the line during those moments. He's had 8 games this season where he scored at least 10 points in the fourth quarter alone, which is tied for 3rd most in the league. Even though the Warriors are sitting at 44-31, Curry's performance has him in the top 10 for MVP odds. That speaks volumes, especially considering how crowded the MVP race is this year. The voters are seeing just how much he's carrying this team, and the streak he's been on lately is just ridiculous. Over his last 10 games, he's averaging nearly 29 points, a little over 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and almost 2 steals per game. He's doing it on 44% shooting from the field, 39% from three, and 93% from the line. That kind of stretch would be impressive from a rookie or someone in their prime. But he's 37. Back in March, he became just the 4th player, aged 36 or older, to score at least 30 points in 4 straight games. The only others? LeBron, Jordan, and Karl Malone. That's the level he's operating at. He's now 3rd all-time in points per game for players 35 and older, trailing only Jordan's 28.7 in 2003 and LeBron's 25 in last season's run. Everything he's doing this season isn't just good for his age, it's good, period. And when you factor in the volume, the efficiency, and the historic context, there's no doubt he's having one of the most impressive age 37 seasons in league history. But then we can look at Draymond. Draymond had 13 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists, 2 steals, and a block. And that stat line puts him in rare company. That triple-double was the 33rd of his career, which ties him with Ben Simmons for 14th on the all-time list. And every time he puts up a triple-double, Golden State nearly always walks away with the win. They're now 31-2 when he does it. That's the highest win percentage ever for any player, with at least 30 triple-doubles. It wasn't just a triple-double, though. It was a full display of everything Draymond brings. Only Nikola Jokic and LeBron James have more triple-doubles than him that also include at least 2 steals and 1 block as active players. So when Draymond stuffs the stat sheet, it's not empty numbers. He's doing it across the board. He dished out 12 assists and didn't commit a single turnover in the second half. His total for the game was a 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, which is his best in a triple-double performance this season. He was setting up teammates, orchestrating the offense, and keeping the ball moving all night long. And this wasn't just about offense. His defense was everywhere. When Draymond was on the floor, Memphis had an offensive rating of only 98.3. When he sat, that number jumped to 112.4. That's a massive swing that shows just how important his presence is on the court. He had 5 deflections, 2 steals, and a block, continuing to show why he's still the most versatile defender in the league. He was just named the Western Conference Defensive Player of the Month for March, and it's easy to see why. Over his last 10 games, he's averaged nearly 2 steals and over 1 block per game. At 35 years old, he's still affecting every part of the game without needing to score 20 points a night. His game score against Memphis was 16.5, which ranks as his 3rd best performance this season. The only 2 games that rank higher were his 23-point game against Toronto and another strong all-around outing earlier in the year. He had the best plus-minus on the team outside of Curry at plus 13 in just 33 minutes. Even though he shot only 4 for 12 from the field, he still posted a true shooting percentage of over 53% because he went 4 for 4 from the line and drew tons of defensive attention with his passing and screening. He doesn't need to hit every shot to be effective. His impact comes from everywhere else on the floor. This year, his per game numbers look like this: 9.2 points, 6.2 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 1.5 steals, and 1 block per game. He's the only player in the entire league averaging at least 5 assists, 1.5 steals, and 1 block per game. That balance of playmaking and defense just doesn't happen from anybody else. His steal numbers rank in the top 10 among all forwards, and his block rate of 3.4% is his highest since the 2017 season. That means he's turning back the clock on defense while still holding his own as a playmaker. He's also averaging 5.7 assists per game, which ranks third among forwards. Only Jokic and LeBron are ahead of him. His assist rate is over 26% this season, which is the highest he's ever had in a year, where he didn't make the All-Star team. So even without the fanfare, he's still doing things only a few guys can pull off. And then there's the legacy stuff. He's made 8 all-defensive teams, which ties him for the third most ever, only trailing legends like Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. But what really sets him apart is his combination of stats. He's the only forward in league history with at least 1,000 steals, 1,000 block, and 5,000 assists. That's a stat line that shows just how unique his career has been. There are great scorers, great defenders, and great passers, but Draymond is one of the few who blends all of that together, even though scoring has never been his calling card. Since 2015, the Warriors have finished as a top 5 defense in 9 of the last 10 seasons, and Green has been the common denominator in all of them. His ability to switch, communicate, protect the rim, and quarterback the defense from the paint or the perimeter has kept them at the top, no matter who else is around him. This season has been no different. He's still anchoring the defense, still setting screens, still making the extra pass, and still doing all the things that never show up in highlight reels, but always show up in wins. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games, and that's not a coincidence. At 35 years old, Green's performance against Memphis was just another reminder that he hasn't lost a step mentally or physically. The numbers may not always jump off the page in points, but everything else he does is elite. He's still one of the best in the game at controlling tempo, disrupting offenses, and setting up his guys for success. And while his scoring might not grab headlines, it's the rest of his game that tells the story. His fingerprints were on every possession, every stop, and every assist. He's not just a role player, he's a foundational piece, even after all these years. This wasn't just another stat-stuffing night. It was a clear message. Draymond Green's basketball IQ, timing, and effort are still unmatched. He continues to defy age, adapt his game, and push the Warriors forward when it matters most. But then we can look at Jimmy. Jimmy Butler shot 7 for 11, poured in 27 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, dished out 4 assists, snagged 3 steals, and didn't miss a single free throw. That line screams efficiency, and it was his most accurate shooting night in any game this season, where he scored at least 25 points. He hit 63.6% of his shots, and that gave him a true shooting percentage of 82.9%, the second highest he's posted this season in any game with at least 10 attempts. He went 12 for 12 from the line too, tying his season high for most free throws made in a game without a miss. That's vintage Butler, aggressive, calculated, and impossible to rattle. His 10 points in the fourth quarter gave him his 5th game this year, where he scored double digits in the final period. When things tighten up, Butler stays composed. He's still one of the most reliable closers in the league. He wasn't just scoring either. He did what he always does, contributed across the board. He became the only player in the league this season to post at least 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals while shooting over 60% in under 40 minutes. That's the kind of all-around impact that's hard to quantify, but the numbers say it all. On the defensive end, he shut down Memphis wings. The players he guarded shot just 4 for 12 when defended by him. His presence completely changed the way Memphis attacked, and it wasn't just about contesting shots. His footwork, positioning, and anticipation still rank among the best in the league. He's not just physical, he's surgical. The Warriors had a net rating of plus 12.4 when Butler was on the floor. That dropped to minus 3.1 when he sat. That's a 15.5 swing, all tied to his presence. It's not always flashy, but his impact on both ends of the court is undeniable. He's one of those players whose value gets even clearer when you look at the advanced stats. This season, he's averaging 17.3 points, 5.7 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and 1.3 steals. Only 4 other players aged 35 or older are matching or exceeding 15 points, 5 boards, 5 dimes, and a steal per game. He's not just aging gracefully, he's still thriving. His shooting splits have been solid all year. He's hitting just under 50% from the field, his highest field goal percentage since the 2017 season. His three-point shooting is down at 28%, but he's never relied heavily on the deep ball. Instead, he picks his spots, gets to the line, and finishes efficiently around the rim. That free throw percentage is at 83% on the season, right in line with his career average, and his playmaking has been sharp. His 5.5 assists per game are the most he's averaged in any season since 2020. The wild part, he's doing that while turning the ball over just 1.4 times per game. That's the lowest turnover rate of his career. His player efficiency rating is 22, which puts him in the top 25 among all forwards. That's an elite number, especially for someone in his mid-30s. His win shares are over 7, which ranks 3rd on the team. So whether it's scoring, facilitating, rebounding, or defending, he's making winning plays every night. He's already a 6-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA selection, and 5-time All-Defensive Team member. Only 9 other players in history have matched that combination, and he's the only wing in league history to record over 1,500 steals, 500 blocks, and 4,000 assists. His career has been a masterclass in two-way production. Over his last 10 games, he's averaging 17.4 points, 6.7 rebounds, 6.8 assists, and 1.6 steals per game. His shooting splits during that stretch: 45% from the field, 26% from 3, and 83% from the line show that while the 3-ball hasn't been falling, everything else is clicking. He's recorded 3 triple-doubles this season, including a 16-point, 11-rebound, and 12-assist night against Toronto back on March 20th. That kind of versatility is rare at any age, let alone 35. And when the Warriors win, Butler's production usually jumps. In their last 10 games, they've gone 7-3, and he's averaging just over 20 points per game in those wins. It's clear that he's adapted his game to fit what the Warriors need. He's not forcing shots or chasing stats. He's fitting into the system, picking his spots, and delivering in the moments that matter most. Whether it's guarding the other team's best wing or getting to the line in crunch time, he's still doing it all. This performance against Memphis wasn't just another good game, it was a reminder of how lethal he still is. He didn't need a high volume of shots to make his mark. He did it with patience, efficiency, and that relentless focus that's defined his whole career. Butler may not be the first name that comes up in MVP talks or headline debates, but he's still one of the most impactful players in the game. He's the guy teams trust when things get chaotic. He's the guy who finds ways to control pace, lock down scorers, and hit big shots when everything else is breaking down. At 35, he's not chasing stats. He's chasing wins. He's reshaped his approach without losing any of that edge. His numbers back it up, and his impact speaks for itself. When he's on the court, the Warriors are better. When the game is close, he's the one you want taking the shot or making the stop. Jimmy Butler's night against Memphis was more than efficient. It was dominant in every subtle way. It was the kind of performance that gets overshadowed in the box score, but shines through in the outcome. And right now, as the Warriors push for a deep postseason run, Butler looks like he's ready to lead them every step of the way. But then let's talk about the bench. The Warriors bench brought exactly what they needed in their historic win over the Memphis Grizzlies: efficient scoring, physicality on the glass, consistent rotations, and most importantly, a controlled tempo that made it easier for the starters to dominate. Buddy Hield, Quentin Post, Santos, and Looney all shared the floor in different combinations, and while none of them posted gaudy individual numbers, their collective impact was crucial to one of the most complete offensive performances of the season. Their presence helped hold the lead, expand it in spurts, and slow down any serious Memphis momentum during rest minutes for Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler. That 45-point total was not only meaningful for the single game, it aligned with what the bench had been doing for weeks. Over the last 10 games, the Warriors bench has averaged 45 points per night, which ranks 5th in the entire league. They've done it without needing one go-to scorer or overloading a specific play style. It's been collective production, driven by confident defensive control and low turnover possession. The April 1st win was just another display of that rhythm. Buddy Hield's three-point shooting is always going to draw attention, and he fired off 7 threes in this one, knocking down 2. Even though his percentage wasn't high, the spacing it created was immediate. The Grizzlies were forced to stay attached, which prevented them from clogging lanes when the ball swung toward the middle. His willingness to shoot, even if it's a cold night, keeps defenders honest, and that's a win. even when the shots don't fall. That shooting gravity paired with Quentin Post's perimeter touch gave the Warriors the ability to play 5 out for stretches. Post has been developing into a reliable floor spacing big, and his activity on the defensive end, especially in transition, helped limit Memphis to just 12 fast break points. That figure, far below their season average, wasn't just due to missed shots from the Grizzlies, it was rotation effort, smart recovery, and disciplined containment from the second unit. Santos brought physicality and pace to the bench group with sharp cuts and a couple key defensive possessions, including a late game steal that helped push the Warriors back into control. His efficiency throughout March, 50% from 3 on limited attempts, has been enough to force defenders to close out, which further enhances the bench unit's floor spacing. That floor spacing matters even more when Looney is in the lineup. Looney played just 5 minutes in this one, but his impact remains deeply tied to things that don't show up in the raw scoring numbers. His screen assists, box outs, and rebounding fundamentals help glue everything together. Looney's only stat on the box score was 1 offensive rebound, but the advanced numbers tell a better story. In his minutes, the team's defensive rating improves by over 4 points, and March was one of his most efficient months in recent memory, with a true shooting percentage over 73%. One of the most significant elements of this bench performance wasn't the scoring, it was the lack of mistakes. Turnovers were kept to a minimum. When the second unit moves the ball, they do it with purpose. They rarely over-dribble, and their assist-to-turnover ratio was excellent throughout this game. That allowed the starters to return without needing to erase deficits or play catch-up. The stability of the bench helped ensure that every rotation felt consistent. They didn't waste timeouts, didn't allow large Memphis runs, and absorbed enough minutes to give the veterans rest without sacrificing rhythm. Defensively, the bench unit delivered again. Their ability to switch, hedge, and recover was locked in. There was no hesitation. Post and Santos both showed high-level feel when helping on drives, and Looney's communication continued to anchor things even in short minutes. The Grizzlies shot just 4 for 12 when guarded by members of this second unit, a number that reflects smart contesting, defensive awareness, and discipline. Whether on ball or in rotations, they forced Memphis into low-efficiency possessions repeatedly. They didn't rely on gambling for steals. Instead, they played positional defense, closed off driving lanes, and rotated with timing that mirrored what the starters were doing. The advanced metrics across the board back up just how strong this group has become. The unit posted a +6 rating in this game, but their impact has been even bigger across recent matchups. Over the past 10 games, the bench has posted a +7.1 net rating, third best among benches league-wide. That includes scoring output, defense, rebounding, and ball control. In clutch minutes, defined as the final 5 minutes of a game within 5 points, the group has delivered a net rating of +12.4. That means even when the starters aren't closing games, the bench has been dependable under pressure. One overlooked stat that always shows up for this group is screen assists. Even when they aren't hitting shots, they're setting up teammates with physical, well-timed screens that create separation. The result? Open shots, more space for cutters, and a steady flow of ball movement that fits perfectly with the Golden State's offensive principles. This is especially true when Hield or Post is in action. Both force defenders to fight over screens, which opens up interior space. Even Looney, without looking to score, creates value by simply positioning his screens at the right time and angle. On the glass, the second unit was active and physical. They didn't dominate the rebounding column, but they held their own. They boxed out, chased long rebounds, and eliminated second-chance opportunities for the Grizzlies when it mattered most. Memphis is a team that thrives off hustle plays, but in this one, Golden State's bench absorbed their energy and returned it with force. Every contested rebound, every tipped miss, every screen set for a teammate. That's where this bench did their work. The floor spacing was critical all night. Even if the shots didn't fall consistently, the willingness to launch deep threes kept the court spread and created a bigger margin for error when it came to interior touches and post entry. Hield's shot attempts alone bent the defense. Post range gave the Warriors a 5-man perimeter look in short bursts. Santos moved off the ball with precision, while Looney cleaned up on the glass and set up scoring opportunities with quick handoff actions. The blend of skill sets allowed the unit to mirror the starters in terms of style and pace, maintaining the Warriors' identity no matter who was on the floor. Another reason this group has been successful is because they found stability in roles. Everyone understands the assignment. No one's chasing stats, and no one's hijacking possessions. There's a shared trust among the bench group that makes their time together productive, even if the shots don't fall. The system stays intact, the principles stay the same, and that's what allows them to hold their own night after night. Even though the starters carried the scoring burden against Memphis, they weren't alone. Their confidence was backed up by a bench that had already set the tone. The second unit absorbed pressure, generated energy, and played clean, winning basketball. Every pass they made had a purpose. Every shot they took was within rhythm. Every defensive possession was covered by communication and effort. That's why the Warriors looked so connected throughout the game. They had no weak links. This bench group has become one of the most underrated units in the league. They're not headliners. They're not dropping 30 a night, but they are winning their minutes, executing sets, closing space, and making plays that lead directly to victories. They've blended shooting, effort, rebounding, and high IQ movement into a system that works every night. April 1st was just another reminder. In a league where bench units often get exploited, the Warriors have one that's doing the opposite. They're controlling games, flipping momentum, and playing championship caliber basketball in short bursts. That doesn't happen by accident. It's structure, it's effort, and it's impact. Whether it's Hield keeping defenders honest from deep, Post drawing bigs away from the paint, Santos diving for loose balls, or Looney setting the strongest screen of the night, every action counts. Every small play stacks into something bigger. And on a night where the Warriors made history with their shooting, it was this second unit that gave them the freedom to fire away, confident that no matter the rotation, the impact wouldn't drop off. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during the season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.